Let's talk about CP3 to the Suns, and let's talk about Jrue Holiday to the Bucks, and then maybe throw in a little Kings player that was supposed to go but doesn't look like he is. So
Hey.
CP3 to the Suns, where do you fall on this? What do you think?
I think that's actually a good move for the Suns. They need someone that has good veteran leadership, and the way CP3 went to OKC, he's just stepping up in talent, but still has a team that he can lead. So Booker and everybody, I think that they'll improve with that. And OKC just got Rubio and first round picks, and of course they already traded off Rubio to Minnesota.
Poor
so,
Rubio.
but Rubio's going back to a place that loves him. Minnesota fans loved Rubio, so
He's
he's going
going
back
from
up there.
Scottsdale winners back to Minnesota winners.
Hey,
Poor
pack a
guy.
coat.
Yeah, poor guy.
So, what do you think about that CP3 trade?
Honestly, I think it's great, but it's short-sighted, right?
Right.
You have Booker, who by all accounts is about to become like a top 10 player, like a
Right.
true, has a chance to be a superstar. Right now, I'd say he's Verge star. He is a
Mm,
star, I guess, but like he could get into that upper echelon, and they just up the time frame, right? I guess like
right.
the owners and the management have been told, like or the owners told everybody, like, look, we need to get in the playoffs, because they're
Right.
probably afraid that Booker will want to leave. So they're fast forwarding this process by bringing in CP3.
Right.
My initial response is like, yeah, they're going to be really good. But is CP3 going to have the same type of year that he did last year? Or are we going to see the aging superstar who maybe they start off great, but by the time this, squished season gets pushed into the playoffs, is he going to be the same player? Like, he's
Right.
injury prone. Like, he's in his mid. Everybody looks at LeBron as this like superhuman dude that's only been injured once in his career, and they forget that pretty much every other player that's in their mid 30s starts to break down.
Right. Well, and that's the problem. Like we were talking, what I was talking about with Wiggins and the NBA's amnesia of
Hmm.
having one good season. Just the year before that, Chris Paul's contract was going to be almost untradeable.
It was the Westbrook
Be-
contract, right?
though, yeah, exactly. And the problem is that CP3 has a history of one not being able to get out of the first round in the playoffs when he was with the Clippers and then moving down there to Houston. The Houston duo of him and Harden was working, but then he got hurt because he gets hurt in the playoffs or the end of the year. He tends to a long NBA season wears on his body, and he had one good season, and everyone's like, CP3 can improve. I mean, you see it all over the news. CP3, if he moved there, he can improve that team. Oh, let's move him over there. He can improve that team because of what he did with this underachieving, rebuilding pretty much OKC squad, and they
Hmm.
actually were playing good. And everyone forgot, but he's still CP3 who had one good Renaissance season. And you're right. I think that if he has to push himself and they're really trying to do some championship stuff. I don't know. Maybe he did some crazy Tom Brady stuff to his body,
Well,
but
he supposedly went to this before this offseason, he went to like plant-based diet and completely changed that aspect of his life. And
right.
look, CP3 is one of my favorite players. Like, I love
Okay.
how fiery he is. I love his game. He is a point god. I love, what's the name of this podcast, right? Is
Yeah.
mid-range game,
Mid-range.
right?
That's
Like,
right.
I love his game. His game is everything that, I wish I could do, right? He's really fun,
right.
but he wears on guys.
Hmm.
He gets injured, and he's had some meltdowns in the playoffs. Will he unlock Booker? Probably, but I just wonder if one season, possibly two, good seasons,
Right.
is that worth mortgaging your future? Just being to be like I mean, where would you slot them in? Maybe the seventh seed at the ceiling, the sixth seed, probably.
The problem is they're in the West, and we just talked about how six down
Hmm.
is tight.
Right.
That's the Mavericks. Whatever
Oh
moves
yeah.
they're doing over there, they're trying to come up. Golden State, I mean, even though Clay
Yeah.
is gone,
Eh.
I mean, that may knock them out of that, but
Right.
a lot of those teams, I mean, like,
Well, look,
unfortunately,
you could
New
stamp
Orleans and
people in,
Memphis
right?
tried to do stuff. Yeah, you can just slide them around.
You're gonna have the Lakers, you're gonna have the Clippers, you're gonna have Denver, you're gonna have the Mavs. That's four.
Mhm.
That's four right there. Then you got
Portland.
Portland, the Grizz, the Pelicans should be better.
Mhm.
The Suns should be better. So I mean, I don't see them cracking like the top five, but will they be in the playoffs? Sure.
Yeah, I think those guys at the bubble down there it's going to be again a big fight for who's going to take those last couple, and they're going to have that play-in playoff thing this year where you get that last seed. We'll see how that works, but
Right.
they may find themselves in that tournament, trying to
I
play
mean,
into the
they definitely
playoffs. So
could for sure. Definitely.
yeah,
So they also, they lost some depth by shipping Oubre out, although they played without him in the bubble. So
right.
we'll see. I think this helps Aiton quite a bit as well too, having
That's key
CP3.
because he's used to having good big guys.
Well, that
CP3,
the pick and roll with him is going to be, he's going to teach that kid how to play pick and roll basketball for sure.
he got skills.
Yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think it's a little short-sighted and a little scared of Booker leaving is why they probably did this deal.
Right. They drafted Jalen Smith, the 10th pick, and he could be coming off the bench. So hopefully, they're hoping the CP3 also can help mentor some of these younger guys because they have a younger team.
Right.
And so it's not just about unlocking Booker, but it's getting max play out of the rest of them, and like he did in OKC last season.
Well, speaking of being scared of someone leaving, that brings us to the
Mm,
Bucks and their monster trade for a not so monster player in Jrue Holiday.
mm.
What do you think?
Now, now, Jrue Holiday, I've heard from multiple places that he is one of the most underrated point guard talents in the league. I've heard a couple players be interviewed, and they said if you talk to players in the NBA and you say who's somebody that people are sleeping on, they say Jrue Holiday's name comes up a lot. That he is a great talent. Unfortunately, Jrue Holiday is injury prone. And we'll see what he can do with that team. The Bucks are wanting Jrue Holiday to take the spot of the second best player because Middleton can't hold that very well.
Hmm.
So if he is the second best player and he lives up to what they want and he can be healthy all season with Giannis, they have improved. Now, how much have they improved? Are they still going to be regular season monsters and playoff duds? I mean, he hasn't been on a winning team, so he doesn't really know how to win in the playoffs. So that's the hard part, right? Is did you bring somebody who brings you playoff experience that knows how to win? They did not.
So call it.
So
You don't think this makes them better?
I think it makes them better, not good enough. I think some other teams in the East they're still going to struggle against in the playoffs, and that's the Bucks' problem. It's not regular season.
Right.
Their problem is beating these teams in the East in the playoffs,
Hmm.
and I don't think they're going to go to the championship with just this one move.
They gave up a lot to get Jrue Holiday. They basically gave up an AD type of deal to get him.
Yeah,
I mean, the Pelicans and OKC have like every draft pick. Like they're the only two teams that you're gonna see drafting players. I feel like in the future, it's
right,
amazing.
right.
I like Drew Holiday. I remember when they took on Portland and he shut down Damian Lillard. Like he
Yeah,
is a legit defensive stopper.
he's a two-way guy. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
two-way guy for sure. But I don't think this makes them. Does this put them better than the Celtics? Maybe. Does this make them better than the Heat? Maybe, but it's not a sure thing to me. To me, I want Drew Holiday on my team, a guy that I think hasn't made an All-Star game in like 7 years, hasn't been on an All NBA team for a while. And for you got the other thing is this is for 1 year. So
Right.
you may have sold the farm, for 1 year. This guy, to me, he's Middleton 2.0. Like, he needs to be my third best player. So
Yeah,
now you have two of those guys.
that's right.
Middleton offensively, and Jrue is defensively going to bring it. Like, put Jrue Holiday on the Clippers, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah,
they're going to be trouble. Put him on the Mavs with a healthy Porzingis, and
right.
it's like, they're legit. Put him
Yeah,
on the Lakers with AD and LeBron. It's like, oh my God, they'll rough shot through the league.
right.
But on the Bucks, I don't know that it. I don't. Is he better than? Is he an upgrade from Bledsoe? Without a doubt. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
upgrade from Bledsoe. But is it as big of an upgrade to the point where I put them as winning a championship next year? Nope.
I don't think it makes them championship ready. I mean, I think they have to add a little bit more. I don't know where they're going to get that from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because of the other move they wanted to do, which was they were trying to improve, which was
Right. Bogan.
your boy Bogan.
Right. That kind of, now the NBA is looking at tampering for that. So if they had got him, that's another legit guy, but that's not going to happen now.
Right,
So, okay. So there's a lot of NBA talking heads like us, and the ones that are on like national TV. They're like, "Well, you do this trade because if Giannis signs that contract, then you're set."
right,
Okay, well, what if Giannis signs that contract, things don't go great this year, and Jrue walks? Right?
right,
Like now what?
right,
Now you have Drew and now you have Giannis and Middleton with no future assets.
right,
And Milwaukee is not exactly pulling in free agents left and right. So
right,
do you do this deal with the assumption? I think everybody's assuming that Giannis is going to sign the Supermax now, right? Because if
right.
he does, what if he doesn't sign it? Like what?
They're toast.
Like you might as well just fold the franchise next year if he opts to go somewhere else. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that would be
free agents
terrible.
don't want to come to Milwaukee. That's it's not a free agent destination,
Right.
So they have to get these things done through trade. But you're right, Drew may go, you guys aren't going to win a ring, but Kawhi and Paul George called me up and said they're going to opt into their last contract. So next year, I'm just going to sign as a free agent to point guard the
Well,
Clippers and
he's
see if
gonna
I can
want
win a
max
ring.
money too, right? He's gonna want max money, and
Right.
he has all the leverage next year too, right?
Yeah.
So say they go to the Eastern Conference Finals or even the finals and they lose, right?
Mhm.
Jrue Holiday is gonna go to them and be like, I want max money.
Right. So they need to do something. The thing is that they have a path that's easier than being in the West.
Oh,
They're in the
without a
East
doubt.
because the East is very top heavy, and
Hmm.
so the bottom. So if they do like they normally do and get that number one, number two seed in the East,
Right.
that means their first round of the playoffs should be easier. They made it really hard this year, but
Right.
it should be easier for them, and so they can go a little deeper into the playoffs before they really have to fight against Boston, uh, the Raptors. Who
Right.
knows what they're doing? Philly's trying to improve a little bit, got some shooting, so you never know. And if Philly's not done yet, like we talked about, if they're going to try to go get Harden or somebody, who
Mhm.
knows? But I don't think Philly's done. Daryl Morey and them
Right.
is
And
making
they
moves.
had a
So
good, yeah, they had some good moves. They brought in Curry. They're going to get Danny Green. So, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, and they drafted well. Again, I don't know much about the draft, but everybody was like the Maxi kid is legit. So,
oh yeah,
so they did some good things.
he kind of
So,
touched my heart too. He started crying and was so grateful to get drafted. I'm like, oh, wait.
bro, every draft
That's a good
pick,
guy.
this is every draft pick after they got their name called. They all were crying, which good for
I,
them.
w- I
That's your
wonder if
dream.
if they're doing a Zoom call and they're surrounded by all their loved ones and family, if it's hitting them harder. Because when you just walk up there and
Oh, that's
and
true.
meet the commissioner,
Yeah.
you're all cool, got your suit
That's
on
right.
and
You're
everything.
you're you're showing the inside of your suit and your chain and you. I think you're
Yeah,
right. I think being at
yeah.
home and being able to be comfortable, it hit these
Surrounded
kids
by
that all
every.
that
Yeah,
hard work, paid
that's
off,
right.
and you're in the league now. So,
That's right.
all right. So I'm happy to be back. I'm glad to be talking basketball with you again.
It's
And
great.
I'm looking forward to this season. It's going to be a quick week. We're going to have to come back at you soon next week because the free agency period starts today, I believe, at 6
Stuff is
p.m.
happening back to
Eastern.
back to back.
It's a fun week. But yeah, it was fun talking to you. We are going to get out of here on that, guys. Make sure you subscribe, check out the podcast. We're going to chop this video up a little bit and put some different videos out. But the full everything we've talked about today will be on the pod, link in the description below. But Brent, what do you got for our outro, man? It's been a minute. I'm sure you're ultra prepared.
Am I ultra prepared? Let's see. Let's do some Jack Nicholson and As Good as It Gets. Well, I'm not supposed to tell the cut that part out. I'm not supposed to. All right, so let's do a quote. Let's see, dig in the archive. Where'd this come from? Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
I like that. That fits Houston pretty well, I think,
That's
right
right.
now. Definitely.
That's right.
All right,
Or
good.
Brooklyn.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Oh, and Brooklyn could be Brooklyn could go downhill quick. All right, for Mid-Range Game, I am Dean. That is Brent. Take it easy. We'll talk to you next time.
Peace.